You're watching Spotlight, a production of Culture in Maine, York's cultural showcase. I'm Carla Christopher, poet, publisher, and producer. Join me, along with editor, musical guru, and video extraordinaire Jay Schmuck, plus wild outdoorsman and videographer, along with technical extraordinaire Cliff Kern, and all of our friends as we go behind the scenes and get into the underground of what's really going on in the arts and cultural amazing explorations that are happening in South Central Pennsylvania. You'll see everything from art to music to dance to theater, and you'll also get to meet the people who really make it happen, find out how and why, along with some great studio performances, some amazing on-the-street footage. You'll also get the real story, and that's what we're here to shine a spotlight on. Let's go.
Hard to tell if anything is gonna sell. Try hard, get barred, get back, write braille, get jail, jump bail, join the army if you fail. Look out, kid, you're gonna get hit. But users, cheaters, six-time losers hanging around the theaters. And the girl by the whirlpool's looking for a new fool. Don't follow leaders, watch the parking meters. Now this is the big finish, I call this verse the universe. Well, get born, keep warm, short pants, romance, learn to dance, get dressed, get blessed, try to be a success. Please her, please him, buy gifts, don't steal, don't live 20 years of schooling. Put you on the day shift, look out, kid, they keep it all hid. Better duck down a manhole, light yourself a candle, don't wear sandals, try to avoid the scandals. Don't want to be a bum, you better chew gum. The pump don't work cause the vandals took the handles. Now, is that a rap song? I think so.
Now, art is everywhere. There's beauty to be found no matter where you look, sure. But it takes a very special artist to be able to look at some of the worst shaped, awful, broken down environments, places that are severely challenged, places that have been written off in terms of any kind of culture or appeal by not just the art world, but by everyone. And Annalisa, who's joining us today, is one of those visionaries. She doesn't just create art, she creates spaces. She creates places of tremendous beauty and creativity, doing site-based art installations, where she creates beautiful objects using natural materials culled from a stricken environment and creating something beautiful and memorable there that not just inspires the people that see it, but that also helps us reconceptualize and re-envision a space that we had previously just walked away from. Now, this has taken on tons of forms for you, because now, when did you first start doing art-based work? I know when you were doing some of your pieces, I mean, all over the country, you've got Detroit auto malls being re-envisioned, and you know, it's not just a York thing. Where did this journey start for you?
Well, even when I was extremely young, I was digging around in the dirt and finding things. And I think that actually comes from coming from York County and being surrounded by farmland and knowing that no matter where you go and you dig up here somewhere, you're going to find something interesting. It's something even like something maybe dating from the Civil War or previous to that. Or
that's true.
I've dug up areas and I'd find Native American arrowheads.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And it's just amazing and remarkable. And what one person sees as valuable in a historical or financial sense, someone else sees as garbage and debris. And I was always able to find something beautiful in stuff you'd dig up. And if you didn't have to dig it up, it would be laying on the ground. And I don't know, I would see an area that was thrown away, and I just knew I could make it better. And it's perhaps like a small bit of land becomes a metaphor for like a person or a community or a neighborhood. You can always find value and beauty in something, and it might take a little bit of effort to make it better. I take the path less traveled. If it's through garbage, or
The less
weeds,
traveled path through the
or
garbage.
I mean, it's a literal, physical, metaphorical journey, and I think it's beautiful.
Well, this idea that you have of there's a time factor in everything. I mean, with the grass work that you do, you said that you have to wait for the grasses to grow multiple feet high, like 3 and 4 feet high, before you can then bring them down.
Correct.
But they have to be that braided and coiled and creating these shapes. There's this whole waiting process of making sure that you have the material that you need.
Correct.
It's like cliche, but music has always been a part of my life. I remember, like, since I could talk, basically, I've been singing. My dad and I would always make songs out of everything, just like doing normal, like, house tasks. We would, like, sing in conversation to one another. And then just in school and stuff, through, like, elementary school, I would do, like, the little choir things. And then in high school, I just kind of randomly decided that I wanted to teach myself how to play guitar. So I did that, which was awesome because my whole life I've written songs. I've written over 500 songs lyric-wise, and it was always so hard for me because I could never share them with people that well because I never had instruments to go with them. But once I learned how to play guitar, I could share my music a lot more, so other people could hear kind of what it sounded like in my head. All right, this first song is called Thank You for Being Who You Are. It starts out pretty sweet, I'll say that. I really don't know where I'd be without you all. Showed me it's okay to let down my walls. Before I was afraid to try, from change I'd hide, but you inspire me. You made me strive, so thank you. Thank you all for being who you are. You're all so vain, but not that smart. Love to talk, but hate to work. And as I drown in college and jobs, you sit around criticizing each other, but I can't live that way, so I strive to do better. Oh, thank you. Thank you all. You inspire me, being who you are. Everywhere I go, I can't escape it. People with no will to learn or respect for each other, hope for progression or goals for the future. But this tells me there's got to be more, so I keep pushing on. Oh, thank you. Thank you all for being who you are. So vain, but not that smart. Love to talk, but hate to work. And as we drown in college and jobs, you sit around criticizing each other, but I can't live that way, so I strive to do better. Oh, thank you. Thank you all. You inspire me by being who you are. Well, I despite my feelings, miserable and never sleeping, overdose on food and caffeine. Sometimes when I'm struggling, I wanna give up and kick it with you all, but just couldn't be rude, lazy, and proud. So despite my fears, I'm pushing through anything not to get stuck with you. So thank you all for being so vain, but not that smart. Love to talk but hate to work, and as a drowning college and jobs, we sit around criticizing each other, but I can't live that way, so I strive to do better. Oh, thank you all. You inspire me. Just keep being who you are. When I was really little, I always had this dream of being like a big star, and now, I mean, reality kicked in and stuff, so I kind of put it on the back burner sometimes, but it's something I just can't ignore. Like, I have to do it. I'll tell myself, no, I'm just going to focus on school, not worry about music, but it just always comes back. So I decided to start working it into school now. So I just recently declared a minor in music industry. I'm a professional writing major. So I just do a lot of performances around there and locally.
Hello everyone. Hi Judith, if you're watching. Thank you so much, first of all, for watching this piece that I'm going to present to you today. And I really appreciate that and all the efforts that you're doing to basically just change the face of dance. That's very meaningful. A little bit about myself. My name is Dawn States and I'm 25 years old. I started dance at the age of 5, ballet, and I really, really loved it. It was like my favorite thing in the whole world, just to be moving and dancing. And I danced all the way until I was 18. During that time, I got into pointe at age 11. I was trained by very many different guest teachers from around the world who came into my studio that I was part of and showed me how to dance. And then I went to dance days that they have in Baltimore and participated in those dance days, which is just like full day of dancing. And it never felt like work to me. It was always just, this is something fun and awesome that I get to do. And dance also became kind of an escape because at age 11 I was diagnosed with scoliosis and I would have to wear a brace for all the time that I wasn't basically either dancing or taking a shower. The scoliosis then progressed until I had to stop dancing when I was 18. My last role was the Sugar Plum Fairy, which was super fun. I loved that role. At 18, I had my first surgery, which was to fix a spondylolisthesis, which was my vertebrae sliding out of place. And then a year later, my curve had progressed so much so that they realized it was have to be operated on. So then I had my second surgery a year later, which was to fix the curve in my spine. And I have 2 rods and assortment of screws in my back now. And then a year after that, I was in a car accident and broke my hip in 3 places. So basically, after all of this stuff happened, the doctors and my parents and everyone around me said, "You're never going to dance again. You should just give that up and completely forget it." So that's actually what I did. I stopped thinking about dance. I stopped trying to dance. I had nothing to do with it. And then I saw a postcard for Axis Dance Company, and I thought, wow, like maybe this is the place that I can actually dance again. So even if I don't get into your summer intensive, I really appreciate that you guys have at least inspired me and given me this, that I know that I can dance and move again. So thank you.
Yeah, my name is Tom Hopkins from Glen Rock, and I've been playing music since I was a wee boy for sure. My dad played guitar, piano, and banjo, and we used to have a lot of fun around. And the obligatory piano lessons, and then on into discovery. I'll tell you, I had an epiphany one day. I was at my sister's apartment when I was about 17 years old, and I was listening to a Joe Jackson song, Sunday Papers, and I started playing air bass, and a little light bulb went off in my brain, and I said to myself, you know, the way I'm playing air bass right now is physically the way you would need to move to play the real bass. And then I was like, oh my God, I can play bass. So I managed to get a hold of a cheap bass, learned it pretty quick, and then picked up the 6-string on into my 20s, and started writing songs and playing. And mostly I was a bass player in oldies and classic rock and some country and some straight jazz and blues. Had a lot of fun in a world beat band in the mid 90s, playing percussion on the White House lawn. That was a cool experience. And I'm a 20-year veteran of the York County open mic scene, going all the way back to the Dewdrop and the Eagle's Nest and whatever the Cove used to be three times ago. And it's just great to see the new folks coming up through the open mic scene. And I kind of discovered the joys of busking in the last couple of years in terms of, I don't do it that often, but I love to get out there and play randomly in the public when they're not really necessarily thinking they're going to a place where music's going to happen. We play the occasional First Friday outside in the good weather in downtown York, and I like playing on the Philadelphia street side. Well, it works really anywhere. But so you're playing on the sidewalk. People are stuck in traffic on their way home or wherever they're going, and the random car that happens to be 10 feet from you, sometimes they turn their head and they're like, I hope he doesn't look at me. Other times they start dancing, smiling, rolling down their window. So that's a lot of fun. It was neat playing in the lobby of the Strand for Hypnot a couple of weeks ago, and playing that What Does the Fox Say song. You can see all the 10-year-old girls singing along to every word, and all the moms looking down like, how can you know this song? So you just never know what kind of reaction you're going to get. And for me, music's a way I turn off, my busy brain to a certain extent. When you're really playing a song and sunk into it, there's no time to think about, how to pay the next bill or why the car won't start. But, mostly I enjoy going out and bouncing, either making people smile and think a little bit, and that's all fun and good. But what I really love is when I bounce into other folks and some multi-musician magic kind of happens in a spontaneous way. And that's... That does happen here in York County. There's so many wonderful musicians and artists, around York County. We like the sort of not quite the Baltimore-Washington corridor, but close enough to get that ebb of culture, but a little breathing room to express ourselves. I think that's the way I think about York. And culture in Maine, nice little component of that, so we appreciate it. This is a song that I wrote for a good friend of mine who passed away last year, Mr. Chris Davis. Some of you all may have known him. Master of piano tuning and playing, and drum circle host, and all around incredibly loving guy. And this is a song called Hub of the Wheel. Sing your inner song. Sing it now, sing it strong. He was the hub of the wheel, the love of the wheel. Hub of the wheel, we were lucky to know him. Hub of the wheel, the tire's still rolling. Hub of the wheel, the fire's still glowing. Hub of the wheel, the love of the wheel. Hubba the wheel, we were lucky to know him. Hubba the wheel, the seeds he was sowing. Hubba the wheel, the trees are still growing. Hubba the wheel, the love of the wheel. He had 10 little fingers on 10 little drums. He laid 10 little fingers on 10 little drums. He played 10 little fingers on 10 little drums, climbing that black and white ladder to the sun. Sing to the sun and moon. Sing it now, sing your inner tune. The hub of the wheel, the love of the wheel. Hub of the wheel, we were lucky to know him. Hub of the wheel, the tire's still rolling. Hub of the wheel, the fire's still glowing. Hub of the wheel, the love of the wheel. The drummers are drumming, now feel the beat. The drummers are drumming, now swing your feet. The drummers are drumming, now feel the heat. The drummers are drumming, the drummers are drumming. Hub of the wheel, the love of the wheel. He had 10 little fingers on 10 little drums. He laid 10 little fingers on 10 little drums. He played 10 little fingers on 10 little drums, climbing that black and white ladder to the sun. Guitar was purchased in 1986 at Sam Ash on 56th Street in Midtown Manhattan. So it's been going around for about 30 years. You know, things get layered up a little bit, some peel away. I like to take stickers and kind of, cut them up, mash them around, get to support your local economy, recycle. I'd rather be drumming. It's a hell of a thing to have on a guitar case. Think, absolutely, encourage thinking a lot. I do, absolutely encourage thinking.
When I work in nature, I usually have access to branches and grasses and vines. Like
Right.
the back of the hive in York, I brought in a lot of bricks and made these wonderful spiral patterns. And then I had all these grapevines that I took from my neighbors, and I just rolled it into a huge ball. And it had actually been part of something in York earlier through York Arts called Ignite the Night. And I just had a huge grapevine ball covered with lights, and I had it in the back of my truck, and I plugged it into my lighter, and I drove around York, and it was a big glowing ball, and it was fun, and it was beautiful, and it was combining the natural elements. These grapevines were a bane on the existence of my neighbors. They said, get rid of them, it was garbage. I took it, I made it into art. And then what did I do with this huge ball? I put it in my backyard, because what else am I going to do with it, right? And then the seasonal progression occurs, and it has the sun and snow and rain and ice on it, and it looks beautiful. Yeah. And I don't have a huge backyard, so I thought, well, what else do I do with this? So I brought this huge grapevine ball into the back of the Hive Art Gallery in Royal Square, and I situate this huge ball in this tiny square space. But it changes everything. It visually changes everything. And you have to see it to believe it. And it's just that space to me. It was so square, it needed a round. Things don't always turn out the way I want them to. I usually end up with something better.
I think the first piece of yours I ever saw was one of your giant bird's nests, like a human-sized bird nest woven out of branches and dried vines.
Correct.
And I was like, this is just, there's something so fascinating, the idea that you could crawl inside and it's a place of incubation. And it reminded me of something that you could birth a new idea out of. You know, it made me want to get in there and just sit curled up inside this bird nest until I had created or made something and had come up with this incredible idea. I mean, it was really inspirational to see, but it was in a building, it was in a space. And when I got to see similar sculptures out in nature, it was a whole different experience because it was almost as if they had come up out of the earth. And I really got the feeling of, okay, this is made from materials that were just lying on the ground. Like you have a whole series of made out of wood and branches sculptures, and they really are different when you look at them throughout the seasons and you see how the environment continues to interact with them even after they're made, and how you're using these materials that came right from this area, but creating something so beautiful and separate at the same time.
Well, I like how you describe it. It looks like they rose up out of the earth. I mean, they actually did.
Honestly, I love it. Like, whenever someone mentions it, I just get a good feeling inside because people are so supportive, and they're really, I don't know, it's just great. Like, people always laugh along with you and stuff, and I feel like the people that are there really want to be there and want to hear what you have to say. So it's just like a really good, like, family feeling, and I just feel really safe and accepted when I'm performing around York. All right, this next one is called Broke because apparently colleges don't realize that we're there because we want to find careers and make money, not because we already have it. Hello, tuition, can't say it's nice to meet ya, but everybody's claiming I'm gonna need ya. You were supposed to make me dough, but man, my wallet's feeling pretty sore. Well, I keep working for this so-called gold, so how the hell did I get so broke? We're not the kids with the new cars, rockin' sign designer clothes. They say we won't last in the real world, but man, I made it this far. Take my broke ass home. Hello to jobs, you'll never cover our loans. That's why we take shots before we go out to the bar. We're stressed, but we're goofing off, 'cause at least we know we're not alone. Well, I keep working for this so-called gold, so how the hell did I get so broke? We're not the kids with the new cars, rockin' sign designer clothes. They say we won't last in the real world, but man, I made it this far. Take my broke ass home. Well, I don't have any money. Maybe I should just go home. Well, I don't have any money. Maybe I should just go home. But wait, I'll never have any money if I just give up. So I guess my little broke ass is staying out. 'Cause we're not the kids with the new cars. We rockin' sign designer clothes. in the real world, but man, I made it this far. Well, if I made it this far, why the hell am I still so broke? I do see a big difference in age, in good and bad ways. Like, because I'm young, people, I mean, I've been called like green before, and people will tell me like, oh, you don't know anything about the music business or whatever, or like, oh, I've been doing this for years, kid, I know what to do, I know like the best stage presence or whatever. But then there's also kind of an unfairness to older people, because I don't know, there's just this like marketability to being young. So sometimes people are more accepting of young people, but I don't know, it really, really depends where you are, actually, because like I've been places before where, I don't know, I just feel like people don't really take me seriously or would like kind of ignore me or put me down. But then I've also been other places where it's just like, I don't know, they're very supportive of the new, fresh music scene.
I'm a graphic designer, a design educator, a letterpress practitioner, a fisherman, a craftsman. How does craft apply to graphic design in a digital world? After all, graphic design is just a click of a mouse, right? Wrong. What does craft really mean when you're a graphic designer? Everything. Craft is involved in the making of something, the process of how and why we put things together. It consumes you, takes hold inside of you, makes you dream. Craft is design. So who am I? Like many designers, I'm a collector. I've always collected things: baseball cards, stones, coins, newspaper clippings, beer bottles, things that interest me, things I think I will need or use someday. Collecting is a necessary formulation of how I make my work too. Inherently, designers are collectors. I collect research, data, concepts, images, text, information, and transpose these collections onto my design, such as repurposing beer bottle labels. Most of my career has been spent using digital methods of design. I appreciate the control these tools offer, but I've often felt the results lacked other qualities. With the computer and advancements of printing, my work can look perfect, in perfect registration, on the finest of papers. Technology has allowed designers to produce with utmost precision and craft. While all this may seem evolutionary, I find this approach to working to be boring and expected. I needed a shift, a reboot, a revival. Wanting to expand my knowledge as a designer, I enrolled in the Vermont College of Fine Arts MFA in Graphic Design program. VCFA's independent study model allowed me to step away from the screen. My new craft, letterpress. A 500-year-old printing method that feels 500 years old. I reverted back to collecting. I immersed myself in the process of building a studio. As the challenge to find the antiquated presses and old wood type grew, the more fixated I became on building up the collection. This hunt became a daily ritual. Every morning I sipped coffee while I trolled eBay and Craigslist. My travels have taken me to Maryland, New York, West Virginia, and many small towns in Pennsylvania. With the support of your college, I'll build up my studio hard and fast. In just 2 years, I acquired 10 presses, a massive collection of metal and wood type, plenty to play with and learn from. I then spent months working in the letterpress and learning the craft in order to make my prints in my shop with my wood type and my metal type. While I was drawn to the traditions of letterpress printing, I was also interested in exploring beyond it. Designer Keecher Dean Dixon said, Just as our tools push us, so must we push our tools. I turned to an unexpected collection of car lettering and serpentine belts from junkyards. Like the Dutch designer Karl Martin, I began to deliberately misuse this media to create unique prints to tell stories about how things are made, how things work or don't work. I'll call this work autotype. It speaks to a language of industry, but the forms are more deliberate. It's my attempt to take control of an unwanted resource of typography. I separated these letter forms from their original function, typically what brands an automobile. I like to work with things that had a different life. I experimented with the letters as I found them. Noisy and naturally distressed, the prints consist of disruptions amplified by adhesives. These letters become objects, evidence of a language that is here and gone, and now here again. A connection between the past and the present. What is old is new again. After all this work, it was time to engage others and invite them into the fold. My studio is good for creative thinking and collaborative making. I'm open on First Fridays. I conduct workshops with the community. I now teach letterpress at York College. I even built a mobile letterpress. Hundreds have visited my making space. This give and take, this back and forth, this catch and release fuel my creative process. In fishing, to release is a method of conservation. It's a way of giving back in order to later experience the catch again. In my work, releasing has become a method of replenishing. To release is to educate, to share, to give back, to ignite ideas. Like good karma, it might come back to you better when you let it go. Through these methods of making and sharing, I'm able to release the results out into my community. Like fishing, making is only as important as the giving. The catch and release work in tandem. They are a mechanism. You cannot have one without the other. Release has become a connection between art and gift for me, a passage of knowledge from old to young, student to teacher. Isn't that what designers do every day in their practice? They catch and release. I cast a net, pull it in, and then feed it back out again, one after another. Catch and release.
As I settled into York in the mid-'90s, came up the highway as so many do here in York County, discovered that the York County world fit my transitions in life in terms of wanting something a little more down home, a little more thinking man's music, a little more feeling man and woman's music, a little less volume and a little more listening. And I discovered that up here, and I've really have a broad network of folks that if I walk into an open mic, there's a real good chance there's a couple folks that are ready to have a little fun with me behind the mic, and it's a very family feeling in York, and folks that have been here for a while know how that is. I'm just a newbie to York. I've only been here 18 years, so that's the way it is. But I do love this city and this county for sure. Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Frog goes croak, cow goes moo, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks say quack, fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound no one knows. What does the fox say? Ka-ding, danger, danger, ding. Ka-ding, danger, danger, ding. Ka-ding, danger, danger, ding. What the fox say? Wha-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pow. 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 What the fox say? Hatchie, 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 ho. Hatchie, 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 hatty, 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 ho. What the fox say? Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. What the fox say? Big blue eyes, pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes. Tiny paws up the hill. Suddenly you're standing still. Fur of red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly horse, will you communicate by more horse, more horse? How will you talk to that horse? What does the fox say? Cha 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 cha. Cha 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 cha. Cha 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 cha. What the fox say? Fricka-da-da-da-da-da-da. A fricka-da-da-da-da-da-da. A fricka-da-da-da-da-da. What the fox say? A hee a hee a hee a hee. A hee a hee a hee a hee. A hee a hee a hee a hee. What the fox say? Whoa 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 whoa. What the fox say? The secret of the fox, ancient mystery. Somewhere deep in the woods, I know you're hiding. What is your sound? Will we ever know? Will always be a mystery. What do you say? You're my guardian angel, hiding in the woods. What is your sound? Will we ever know? Will always be a mystery. I want to know.
You can't always tell people everything. They have to find a meaning in it themselves. Some people think they're dangerous. You saw like a nest, like a nurturing aspect.
Yeah.
Something like when you say something is going to give birth to something, it means it's not there yet. That's always eternally going to be offering you a potential.
Yeah.
It's art with a job. What does it do? Who does it serve? It cleans up the area, if you want to talk about a physical sense, and an actual item. It exists as artwork. You can say, oh, it's artwork now. But it's the larger idea. Who does it serve? What does it speak of? It's a large mouth. It's broadcasting. It's empty. Is it going to accept something? Has it expelled something? What's going on with this piece? And I feel compelled to make these, and I don't exactly know why, but people do respond to them. And as long as they're not throwing me out of town, I'm going to keep doing it.
Now, I've noticed, I mean, there are definitely certain vessels that seem to come up as themes, you know, the pods, the nests, the boats, the circular shapes. So are there any of those that are specific choices that you made, or they're themes that just keep coming up for you?
It becomes a fantasy. Why not come to York? See how wonderful it's becoming. I'm from this area. I know a lot of my neighbors say, going to York and it's nice. What a fantasy. It all ties in together. You know, it's happening. It's happening. And by giving rebirth to something that was discarded, we can do that with an object. We can do it with a city. We can do it with a neighborhood. We can find a purpose for everything and for every space and for everyone.
Musically, like, I don't know, the music stuff all like comes from myself, like the things that I write and how I present myself and stuff like that. But actually, Cody Kilburn, I was always really like afraid to perform anywhere, and he was always just kind of like, just do it, come on, come with me, like do this. And kind of ever since then I've been playing a lot. And Devex, he's an awesome musician as well. He performs a lot locally too, and I don't know, I just get inspired by his like drive to do stuff, and we've like worked on some songs together and just like never really finished them. But just having those two people that I know on a personal level, I'm like, okay, well, they're putting themselves out there and doing this, and they're like brave enough to do it, so I can too. I use my music a lot to get out things that are really bothering me. So a lot of my music is really, really sarcastic because I don't want to be negative and complaining all the time. But this one, it's a less funny and sarcastic and more just straightforward. It's called Feeling Everything, and it's just kind of about how we try to like numb a lot of the things that bother us, but sometimes when you play music, you can't help but feel what you're really feeling. They say when music hits you, you feel no pain. But darling, when it hits you, you feel everything. And we work all day to numb. Put bread on the table and face the real world. Till night we travel in song. Well, if you're thinking too hard, you're doing it wrong. Here in this place we feel it all, so let it hit you all at once. Man, those blues can really hurt, but those good songs feel so damn good. Never mind notes, it comes from the soul. To do it right, you've gotta feel it all. And people try to reword each line to prove they don't care, to ease their minds, but our desires need attention. And to face our fears, you know we've got to reveal them. If you're thinking too hard, you're doing it wrong. Here in this place we feel it all, so let it hit you all at once. Man, those blues can really hurt, but those good songs feel so damn good. Never mind notes, it comes from the soul. To do it right, you've gotta feel it all. And I kept quiet, deny my desires, and watch lustfully. But sadness sucks, so does bad luck, and people are mean. But life can be great, and I secretly pray that you'd love me. Well, sure we can numb, but music saves us. We've gotta feel these things. Well, if you're thinking too hard, you're doing it wrong. Here in this place we feel it all, so let it hit you all at once. Man, those blues can really hurt, but those good songs feel so damn good. Never mind notes, it comes from the soul. To do it right, you've gotta feel it. To do it right, you've gotta feel it. To do it right, you've gotta feel it all. I definitely want to keep playing locally and keep making my YouTube videos and everything like that. And I don't know, I wanted to like organize my own show through the school eventually. That would be really, really cool. But trying to take it one step at a time. I'm actually talking to the people of WVIC, which is York College's radio station, about hosting my own radio show where I play, but then also have other artists play and interview them and stuff. But that is we're just kind of tossing that idea out there, and we're not meeting about it for a little while. So that would be really cool, though, to have my own show and be able to play and broadcast that live. My boyfriend, Jeremy Simmons, is an awesome film dude. So we hope to like make a music video for myself. That would be really cool. Nothing like professional or anything, but I just want to continue getting my music out there. Yeah.
I went down to my conveniently local store, searching for another eternal light. They came in so many cyber colors. I knew mine from all the others. Clicked right away, she was just my type. Lit my cigar, she lit my pipe. But then one day my love was spurned, 'cause I clicked and I clicked, but she would not burn. Made of plastic. When will I learn about plastic? I took that Bic out to my compost pile, stuck it in a hot heap, and walked away with a smile. I came back in a month or two, it was still bright blue, it was still brand new. I said, my God, what am I gonna do with this plastic? When will I learn? Where were you born? You used to be a green swamp by a blue sea, soaking up sunshine, growing up trees. You used to be 1 mile beneath the ground, deep inside your mother's womb. Ah, plastic, when will I learn? Where were you born? Oh, plastic. Well, I was determined to rip those carbon bonds. I was gonna send this blue Bic back to her mom. So I stoked up the wood stove, it was burning bright. I mean hot, man, hot, 850 Fahrenheit. I tossed it in and I closed the door, and I lay back on the couch and I began to snore. And I began to dream. I had the strangest, most disturbing dream. I had a dream about bacon on the griddle, and I woke up to a nasty sounding sizzle, and my nose was asking me a not so funny riddle, singing plastic. Why do you smell so funky when you burn? Ah, plastic, where were you born? When will I learn about plastic? Ah, plastic, I love and hate you, plastic. Can't live without plastic. Won't turn to dirt, plastic. Guitars made of plastic. Oceans full of plastic. I love and hate you, plastic. Plastic, plastic. Ah, plastic. I have a SoundCloud with some of my original stuff, some simple demos. Tom Hopkins, SoundCloud. If you Google that, you can get on through to it. Throw in the word plastic and you'll probably get it. It's the tune I've got at the top of the stack. But I also am in a duo called Tomcat with a longtime friend of mine, female vocalist out of Carroll County, and we've got. We're not on SoundCloud. We're on something else, but we also, of course, have Facebook. Both of those you can get if you're on Facebook. You can get to us. It's called Tomcat Acoustic for our duo work, and then I'd like to also send a shout out to Sons of a Different Mother. And that's a project that's kind of loose, but a lot of fun with Parker James Hooker here in New York, another longtime collaborator here in the area. And, always, one of the things I like to do with my kids sometimes rattle off all the band names of the bands I've been in. I think we got up to like 25 or so at one point. But it's if you want to listen to some of my silly songs, then SoundCloud is probably the best way to go.
Thanks for joining us on another amazing episode of Spotlight, a production of Culture in Maine, York's cultural showcase. We want to hear your ideas, and we want you to be a part of the show. Whether you're an artist or a fan, send us an email to cultureinmaine@gmail.com. Check us out on the web at wrct.tv. Or make sure to find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/White Rose Community TV. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great week. We'll see you soon, right here on the corner of Culture in Maine.
Now you know where milk comes from.